Here for this meeting. Thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Today's date is Tuesday, September 10th. We normally meet on Wednesdays, but tomorrow is 9/11, and out of respect for the families that lost loved ones and those that were victims of 9/11, we decided to change the Town Board meeting from Wednesday 9/11 to Tuesday 9/10. But before we get started with the pledge this evening, sadly, the town of Carmel lost two first responders this year due to 9/11 related illnesses from their work at Ground Zero after the terrorist attacks of 9/11. The fire department of the city of New York lost the member Thomas Roberts, who was assigned to Engine 41, I believe. He passed away. He was a Mahopac resident, and the Carmel resident that passed away is Thomas Lyons. Thomas Lyons, he was an NYPD detective assigned to the Bronx Detective Division Narcotics Unit. So both of those gentlemen sadly passed away after their lengthy illnesses with 9/11 related illnesses from their work at Ground Zero. So let's keep those two Mahopac residents, Carmel resident, in your thoughts and prayers this evening as we say the Pledge of Allegiance, and also all the other members, the citizens, first responders that passed away on 9/11, and those that subsequently have also succumbed to their 9/11 related illnesses. I think there were 7 additional in Putnam County, and the 8 that passed away on 9/11 as well. First responders, regular citizens that worked in the towers, and also police officers, paramedics, and Port Authority officers, as well as I think some federal agents passed away also. So let's not ever forget, we can never forget 9/11, and let's always remember those that were lost due to those fateful events of 9/11, 2001. So the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, Jonathan, could you lead us? Everybody please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Jonathan. Okay, there's going to be a 9/11 remembrance ceremony, as always, up in the hamlet of Carmel at the Cornerstone Park. That's going to be at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. That's an excellent ceremony, and the community, the public is invited to attend that. It's always well attended every year, and that'll take place on 9/11 at 8 p.m. up in the hamlet of Carmel. Okay, so tonight's town board meeting is a town board work session, and for the record, all board members are present with the exception of Councilman Borelli, who had a meeting in New York City this evening, and he couldn't be with us. He extends his apologies for not being here. And we have Chief Kazari with us tonight. He's got 2 items on the agenda. Rich Franzetti, our town engineer, is here with us as well. Rich has 5 items on the agenda. Or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items on the agenda. Mary Ann Maxwell is here, the town controller. And Mary Ann has 1 item on the agenda as well. So let's get started. The first item is a review of the town board meeting minutes of August 21st and August 28th and September 4th of 2019. Unless any board members have any questions or comments on those minutes, we're going to move on.
All good.
Okay, number 1, consider request to waive a 30-day notice of the New York State Alcohol Beverage Control Law application for on-premise liquor license. This is for the Gathering Inn. This is the Old Patrick's Pub. It's located at 925 Route 6 in Mahopac. Or as Greg Amato would like me or us to pronounce it, Mahopac.
It's Mahopac.
And Councilman Lubinachi. He's right, it is Mahopac. So you have the application in front of you, along with the letter from the attorney that's representing the operators of the Gathering Inn. As I said, it's the old former Patrick's Pub. And the application was reviewed by town council, and town council found it to be complete. Greg, correct? Okay. All right, so board, unless you have any questions or comments on this on the application for 30-day waiver. We'll move on with it. Anybody have anything?
No, could we actually, and I think everybody got a copy of it, add a second application for the 30-day waiver?
18 Clark Place, yeah?
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
just for
yeah.
the location of 18 Clark Place. Yeah, they had just submitted an application as well. I'm not sure if we could get
Oh.
this added on,
Oh.
just for review, see if we could get that approved for a resolution.
Yeah,
next
yeah,
week as
let's
well,
do
if
that.
Thank you.
possible.
Yeah, yep, let's do that. Okay, there's a second one here. This is regarding the Bella Restaurant and Bar Incorporated. It's at 18 Clark Place in Mahopac. If you're familiar with where Nick's Plate was located, that's where they're opening this Bella Restaurant and Bar. And the application on it, because this is the first I'm seeing it, so let me just take a quick peek at it. Greg, you want to review it also? Or did you already?
No, we just got to hear a few minutes before.
Okay, it's the Bella Restaurant and Bar, and 18 Clark Place, as I stated. I believe it's the patio and deck that they're going to be utilizing, recorded music type of establishment as a restaurant and bar.
It's an on-premises.
I believe it's the former owner, I guess I could say it because it's on the application, of the Char Steakhouse. Is who's opening this. Richard Megna, he's the president of it. Yeah. Building has two floors, and license holder or manager be physically present, establishment during all hours of operation, yes. It appears to be complete to me from quick review.
And NISLA will review it. State Liquor Authority reviews the applications for verifying the accuracy of the data. You know, your position is there's an application for an on-premises liquor permit for that location. Do you have an objection that you want to make to New York State Liquor Authority about the application itself? Most of these places are facilities that have had previous permits before, and they've been established to this type. So typically, the board, unless there's some egregious error, doesn't take a position, and it allows the NISLA review to proceed more expeditiously if they don't have to wait for the 30 days, and they still have to jump through all the hoops that the State Liquor Authority requires for an on-premises permit, so.
Have we ever filed?
Have you ever objected?
Yeah.
I think you've made it an applicant correct the application, which then burned up to 30 days anyway. But I don't know that on this
Okay.
12-year period, I don't think you've ever actually objected.
Yeah, I don't think I ever remember. It seems like it's a government rubber stamp. Here you go, 30 days, we're not going to object.
I don't think
And
we've
let the
ever-
liquor authority go
Yeah.
through it.
And the Liquor Authority does what,
I don't think we ever have either, Jonathan. I think we've kicked some back to correct the application, to make some
One through two,
corrections
yeah,
to
one through
it.
two.
Yeah.
But once it came back, 30 days later, or whenever the next voting meeting was.
And like Greg said, I mean, it starts from the time that they submit it, so we only have,
Yeah.
if we don't do anything, nothing happens.
Yeah, and I think as Greg stated, most of these have previously been restaurants and bars, and they've had a bar there, and they've had liquor licenses. And there was no objection from the liquor authority at that point, so it's fine. I'm okay with it. Everybody else good with this one too, the second one?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay, next item on the agenda, Mary Ann Maxwell, Town Comptroller, consider request to authorize refunding of public improvement bonds for various town projects. Mary Ann, welcome.
Thank you. Is this, do I have to press this?
You're good, if you're good.
I'm good? I'm great, okay. Okay. It was brought to Supervisor Schmitz and my attention by Capital Markets that there is an opportunity for savings if the town took advantage of refunding 2 of its issued serial bonds. The total potential savings is approximately $121,920. The breakdown of the savings is as follows. 2007 serial bonds, the savings would be over the years 2019 to 2032. This is in Carmel Water District number 13. So the savings over those years would be a total of $92,040.69. The 2009 serial bonds, the savings would be over years 2019 to 2027. And the savings is broken down in total of $29,879.96 through the drainage, resurfacing, machinery, Glenacom Road Improvement District, Carmel Water District number 2, and Carmel Water District number 9. So if the board is, I recommend taking advantage of this, for the potential savings. At the time of issuance in the 2007 bond, the total interest cost was 4.41, and in 2009, the total interest cost was 2.92%. The total interest cost of the refunded bond would be 1.53, so I think it definitely is an advantage to take advantage of this, to the town.
Yeah, let's do that.
So,
And it'll really be Water District 13 that
it's
sees the
exactly.
supermajority of the
Exactly,
benefit.
yeah, yep, yeah, the other districts, it's small, but it's something,
You may
know.
notice $2 adjustment in your bill.
Yeah, I mean, for the other districts.
Yeah.
But Water District 13, you will.
That's a substantial
You definitely
amount,
will.
absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
92,000 over the remainder of the bonds,
Makes sense.
So Greg, Douglas Goodfriend is going to send us the bond resolution, which would have to be passed next week.
There's no public hearing.
In order for us, yeah, there's no public hearing, so in order for us to get it on the October bond issue, we would need to do it right away.
So, did they review all the outstanding bonds? We as a town
They
have a
do,
lot
yeah.
of debt that's out there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, they do. And it has to be a substantial savings to go forward with this. They look at it.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that
OSC
over such a
recommends-
large amount that we have, there's only really Water District 13 that's going to recognize.
benefit,
And
yeah.
such a large savings.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I just read an article that Americans want negative interest rate mortgages, so it's something that most people have never seen before, will ever see again.
Right, yeah,
Borrow money while you can.
exactly, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the long-term rates are definitely, low, lower, so,
Thank you.
okay? Yep,
Thanks, Mary Ann.
yep.
Thanks, Mary Ann, great job, as usual. All right, next, 2 are Police Chief Mike Kazari. 3 is to consider request to authorize change of vendor, waiving the Town of Carmel procurement policy for the purchase of police uniforms. Chief,
Good evening.
how are you?
We got microphones.
I am well, thank you. How are you? So, we are not satisfied with the vendor that we're currently using. We were not satisfied with the vendor before that. That's why we switched. So we are asking that the board waive your procurement policy so that we can use a company that's 13 miles away in Peekskill. We tested out their embroidery. I think you saw some photographs of the current and the proposed, and it's really a lot better.
Okay. How's the pricing?
It's going to give us
Comparable,
the,
or we're getting a better deal?
well, we're going to go to a different product, but yeah, the pricing is going to be,
Competitive. Competitive. with what's
yes,
there.
it's going to be competitive. It's going to be like what the state bid price would be.
Okay.
When do we need to rebid this contract?
Well, we're going to be doing this again in January, so
So this is just a gap from now until the end of the year, really, until this is rebid? Okay. But you're satisfied with the quality of the product to get us through to the end of the year?
yes, and then that is something that we're thinking, in speaking in email and in person, perhaps we waive the procurement policy in January or December, whenever we would do the bid, and we'll go forward, we'll figure out a process and we'll go forward, using town council.
What I think has transpired is even though it's not incorrect to bid the uniform purchases, an analysis of the expenditures over the past few years indicates that doesn't hit the threshold that requires the bid. So if you're satisfied with the vendor, it doesn't mean you don't get competitive pricing at the turn of the new year, but you won't necessarily have to put it out to a formal bid. You can get proposals, written quotes, and you can go that way, and it'll be a little less work for your office because it falls under the threshold. And we can waive the procurement policy in that circumstance as well.
But we'll
That's,
broach this
yeah,
when it
at
comes up.
the end of the year, in
Yes, sir.
November, December, when it always comes up.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Most likely, they'd have to get the bids.
It's probably going to be the gentleman sitting right there, our administrative sergeant, who's going to be
Getting the bids. What
you're gonna
getting
get-
3 faxes or emails from the company saying,
Written
here's what we'll give
proposals,
you.
but not formal bids, based on just what the numbers have been.
Right, that it's under the
Yeah,
threshold.
it is.
Yeah, and you guys know the product you're looking for, which uniform supplier you want to have.
Yeah, we're trying to stay with one that the product is available, because that's part of the problem we keep running into, is that the major companies, Blauer, and they're just not available for anybody. So that's part of our wait, is we wait 6 months for a summer shirt, now it's winter. So it's
Now
just,
it's winter.
it's just very frustrating.
Are you aware of any other municipalities using this company, Rescue Stuff?
A whole bunch, right, Steve?
Pretty much the majority of Westchester County.
Oh, they are, okay.
Yeah, everyone jumped from New England because they were getting, New England's been serving the Connecticut departments and the big New York departments, and putting the little people like us, on the back burner.
On the bottom of the list of, yeah, that's not good.
So Greg, if we do this, what happens to the company that they currently have?
We're gonna stop doing business with them.
Huh?
We're gonna stop doing business with them on affiliated performance.
No, I know, but like, do we have, we
It's a-
could just stop doing business
It's a
with them?
per unit purchase, it's not a written contract
It's not a-
that,
okay.
that binds us
That they have
to purchase a certain amount and through a certain term. We're paying them a certain dollar amount for shirts, for caps, all of those things, for pants, every particular uniform item. So we'll give them notice that the town's no longer gonna be doing business with them at this point as a courtesy.
Okay.
And you can start doing business with the other entity upon authorization.
And Chief, you don't have any orders in with the old company right now, right, for them to fulfill?
Last year's winter orders are being fulfilled as we speak, no.
Yeah, so we're good.
So that's like, you don't have anything with them?
We don't have any major outstanding orders with them, though. We ordered samples from the,
What are
we-
major outstanding orders?
the new officers that we hired, we didn't bring them there to get them sized. No, so we don't have, if there's a straggler shirt or jacket that never
I'm
came,
gonna tell you, I think I'd be
Okay.
very.
but we did not go
But you
there and make an
included
order.
the order, okay.
We have not made any orders with them
Okay,
in a
perfect.
while, because we were waiting for,
A
You
replacement.
guys,
Yeah.
the replacement, perfect.
How long has this performance been below standards?
since it started, and I've been
Years ago.
patient. Well, no, we just went to them in
No,
January.
they just went to them in
This is only
January.
since January?
Yeah, yeah.
And I've been patient and, not criticizing, but asking for better performance, and it's not come.
And it did,
So,
so
you
you can only do so much.
We can only give you so long to fix it.
Yeah, understandable.
Is that a new equipment supply house down there, has that?
No,
been
it's
there?
been there, he just never,
He never wanted
yeah,
to do business
what,
with us?
what did he say to you? Do you remember why he said he never answered? He just,
He asked, how do you pronounce the town?
I don't know if we.
Yeah.
He's only been there for about 10 years or so. He's in another location, I think in Portland, where
Okay,
he did mainly like emergency lighting for vehicles and stuff. But now since that's becoming more computerized and stuff,
Yeah,
he went to
yeah.
the uniform thing. And I don't know if we've ever actually.
Oh,
bid to him.
yes, we didn't bid to
I
him.
didn't really know about him.
Oh,
But now he's gotten
yeah.
big.
yeah,
And I've gotten
good.
some feedback from some of the Westchester jobs, and they're extremely happy with him. So I went down and talked to him, showed me some stuff, and
All right,
Yeah, I think I thought it was a fire,
that's what I thought too, when I saw the name.
yeah, I think I thought it was a fireplace.
he supplies stuff for them too, but it's everything, you know,
Yeah, all inclusive.
yeah.
Yes, and embroidery on site, which is huge.
That's
Do
great.
that too, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad it's gonna work out. Chief.
Tailoring or just
It's like a
embroidery?
one-stop shop.
Tailoring or just
Which is
embroidery?
nice.
Oh, tailoring too.
That's great.
Yep.
On site,
Yeah.
it's good.
All right,
I'm glad it's gonna work out, Chief.
Thank you.
It will.
So the other item that I am here about,
wait,
Let him do his job.
I have to do my thing first.
he didn't mention the dollhouse
Police
was turning into a new restaurant.
You're right, he did not.
He didn't say dollhouse.
Dollhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it was the dollhouse. I wasn't gonna say the other name,
Oh, yes.
but I remember the dollhouse, they had great
What was it?
pastries
It
there.
was a Bavarian
A
pastry
dessert
shop.
place too, yeah.
It was
That was
Bavaria-
good.
That's what I
Bavarian.
remember growing up, was the Bavarian
Yes.
pastry shop.
Yes, yeah. They had an amazing carrot cake there. All right, let's get back to this.
We digress.
We digress. Chief Kazari, consider request to schedule a public hearing on a proposed local law amending Chapter 147 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Vehicles and Traffic. Chief Kazari, you're up.
Oh, thank you. So last Wednesday, we met with the neighbors of Arms Acres, with Arms Acres and the sheriff and some other people. And the neighborhood voiced their concerns about finding syringes, and apparently the people allegedly, the employees from Arms Acres are having their lunch and throwing the garbage on the ground and smoking their cigarettes outside. And this has been going on now,
Long
we
time.
know at least like 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of neighbors that have come and seen the supervisor and complained to him that they foiled for information. So one of their requests was, could we make from Seminary Hill to Tower Road, no parking on Old Town Road? And if we did that, then the police could, no parking, no standing, the police could send the alleged Arms Acres employees away from there or write them tickets. So the people at the meeting all said they wanted that. I don't know what will happen at a public forum if, there'll be 20 residents that say, oh, I don't like that. But I sent something to you, and I sent something to the Highway Superintendent, Michael Simone. I have not heard back from Mike, but I wrote him a letter requesting him to review the proposal. I don't know what he's going to say.
Hearing their concerns, it seems like a reasonable solution.
It
I
does,
remember years ago, they contacted me with it,
yeah.
and this is good.
And with the
Old Town Road,
expansion
Yeah.
of Arms Acres, they were very upset about, that it's gotten more
Right.
people. It's like 180 beds or something now.
Were you at the meeting with Senator Harkam when he was, okay.
That was last week during.
Last
our
Wednesday,
meeting. Yeah.
during your
Yeah.
meeting.
And they also discussed some type of easement that they thought existed from.
Right.
From the facility to Route 6, but we looked at that, and the topo there, is just like, it's a mountainside.
Yeah, it's a couple $1 million. And,
Yeah, to put a driveway in there?
Yeah.
Just be cost prohibitive.
And you're not going to be able to go through the distillery. You don't want a rehab place driving through the distillery. That would be
No.
Counterproductive, yeah.
very
Very
counterproductive.
good,
Yeah.
Susie.
I was just gonna say, can you turn off the TV for a minute, bit?
So perhaps after you hear back from the highway superintendent, we
Yes.
could put this on for a,
So it's Old Town Road, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Old Town Road to Tower Road?
yeah, just that,
It's a
Just
stub.
that,
It's a
just
little-
that,
400 feet, right?
yeah.
but not on Seminary? Just Old Town to Tower, okay.
I think Old Town, and personally, I think but it would be a lot, if you move the sidewalk all the way to Arms Acres, one of their concerns is that when people leave, they don't want to beat Arms Acres, they go across the street into the neighborhood. So if there was a sidewalk, I'm thinking psychologically, I see a sidewalk, I'm going to go that way. But that's a couple $100,000 too, and I don't think the town wants to spend money on a
Might
sidewalk.
be able to get some multimodal grant or something that could work towards it. We still have a multimodal grant that's out there, it sounds
We
like?
do?
That's what it sounds like. Maybe we could utilize that. I mean, we talked about what projects.
24,000?
Seminary County Road?
That's got to be, by the way,
That'll break some
Jonathan,
ground.
That has to be used by the end of this calendar year.
Tower.
There's no way it's happening.
Old Town, Tower.
Might be,
Right, I mean, just municipal way, is there any way
I
possible?
don't think it is.
We're spending
No, it's
that
a town
money.
road.
Unless we
It's
put
a
it on
town road.
account.
It's
That's
a
the
town
man
road,
right
yeah.
there. He would be the one who figures out how we use that 24,000 to go towards something.
Multimodal.
Use it or lose it.
But thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to wait to hear from Highway Superintendent Simone.
Yes.
Could be 2 days.
Mike, if you're watching, please respond to Chief Kazari's email. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, chief.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Mike. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night. Rich Franzetti, PE Town Engineer, this is 5, consider request, he's here for 5 through 9. First one, 5, consider request to authorize extension of contract C-249 for Town Hall Cleaning Services. Current contract provides for a 2-year duration.
So on December 26th, thank you Supervisor, it's on December 26, 2017, town engaged CTE Incorporated doing business as Reliable Cleaning for Town Hall Cleaning Services. The contract duration was for 2 years. Contract provided 2 extensions for 2 one-year periods at the unilateral option of the town. Price escalation as part of this service is provided in the memo, but for 2020, it would be $40,589.50, and for 2021, it would be $41,763.50. We're satisfied with the performance of Reliable Cleaning. We recommend the board exercise the option and extend the contract time for 2 years. The commencement of the extension would be from January 1, 2020 to the end of December 31st, 2021.
Okay, and my comment on this is the current cleaning service is doing what I believe a very good job. They're very thorough. The building's been kept clean, and do you concur? Okay, I don't put you on the spot, but they're doing a good job. Yeah.
I'll
I
take
think so.
Ann's
We-
word over yours, Supervisor, no
Oh, I'm
offense.
sorry,
No
but-
offense.
I mean,
If Ann says it's good,
Well,
then it's
listen.
good. I love you, but,
in my rounds that I make, I've noticed that the building is kept very nice.
No, it is. You're
Nicely
right.
kept clean. Have you gotten any complaints?
no, we have not, not like in the prior service that was there. We had a lot of complaints there. At the very beginning, when they first started, a couple of minor ones, but nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
it's been very good.
Perfect.
All right, board? Great. You guys okay with that?
All good.
Okay, good. All right, next 6, consider request to authorize selection of construction alternate for replacement of sand filter roof Carmel Sewer District Number 2.
So, per the town board's request, the engineering department solicited proposals from engineering firms to provide structural investigations, engineering reports for financing, bid documents and specs, and construction admin for the replacement of the Carmel Sewer District 2 sand filter roof. Delaware Engineering was selected for this work, and they provided an assessment report, which is attached to your backup. The report recommended 3 options and estimated cost for the work. Replace in kind, cost estimate about $180,000. Reframe the roof and replace roof covering, cost estimate $230,000. And reframe the roof, replace roof covering, provide structural bracing at an estimate of $248,900. The engineering department reviewed the document and recommends option 3 be selected as it addresses additional structural deficiencies noted in the assessment report. We've advised the controller of this expenditure, and there are sufficient funds in the unreserved fund balance for this expenditure, and a budget transfer from that line will need to be encumbered. The reason why this is being brought to your attention is because we want to advise Delaware on which option to choose, and we wanted to let the board know that we're going with the reframe, replace roof covering, and structural, option 3.
Sounds good. Small add-on for what seems to be structural bracing, less than 10% for an add-on. Seems like a good recommendation.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
We'll move forward.
so after you guys vote on it next week, I will advise Delaware to go with that option, and then we'll move forward with having them develop the design spec, plans and specs for the project.
We're moving on.
You think it's going to get done in this construction season?
No, it probably will not. We're gonna put it out to bid. It'll probably be a spring job. We'll do it first thing in the spring.
Okay,
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
all right. Very good. Thank you, Rich. Okay, moving along. Consider request to authorize payment for repairs and services, Carmel Water District Number 2. This is for a hydrant replacement.
This memo is being presented to the board to request payment of the attached repair invoice. It's over the town's procurement policy threshold. In Carmel Water District 2, there was a hydrant replacement on August 11th of 19. Infomark, the operators of Water 2, notified the engineering department of a leaking fire hydrant on Stoneley. Upon further investigation, it was determined the hydrant needed to be replaced as an invoice in the amount of $7,127.28 for Cook Excavating to perform the repair. We've advised the controller of this expenditure, and there are sufficient funds in the budget for this work.
Okay. Any idea what happened to the hydrant, Rich? What caused it to
So
start leaking?
it was,
a hit?
it wasn't hit, it was leaking for a while, it had to probably do with the packing, and when they exposed it, they were trying to exercise it a whole bunch.
Yeah.
They did that for a few weeks, we got phone calls from the county, got phone calls from the residents of Stoneley, in Pulte Homes. So we had a lot of calls on it, we were waiting to see if it would fix itself by just, again, playing with the packing, it didn't, so it just was a failed piece of equipment.
Okay. I thought Amanda left Infomark. She's still with them?
She
Is that the
does,
same
yes.
Amanda?
There's 2 different Amandas. I don't have that particular piece of paper in front of me.
Oh.
I can open it up. Hold on
Delgado?
a sec. No, Delgado, yeah, she does part-time work, I guess. I don't know.
Is it the same one that's
Yep.
been there? Yeah?
Yep,
Okay, all right,
There is another Amanda. There are 2 Amandas now. So,
okay.
So Rich, I know I ask this all the time, but I don't understand, 13 hours for a dump truck. Like, does the dump truck just sit there at the site? Because you're just talking about, I can understand at large jobs where you're probably going in and out. But isn't the dump truck just like sitting there? And
No.
The answer is yes, but it's
Could you
part
have
of the
a
traffic
support
control that's being used, even though it's not traffic control. And as he's excavating, he's putting the equipment, he's putting the dirt in there. So while he's doing the excavation work, he's filling the truck up. But I can get more details on that for you.
No, I don't need more details, it's just, I'm always amazed, like, between the dump truck, the support vehicles, it's, I mean, the support vehicle's only $155, but it just seems, I don't know, okay.
I can find out more if you'd like me to. I can ask that question and get you a better answer.
Well, I might be able to help a little bit
Okay.
with that answer,
That would be
Sue.
great.
Yeah.
That dump truck, the material that they excavate out of the trench, they don't put the same material back in the trench. They put new material in the trench, because the material they're taking out, remember, it's usually associated with a water main leak, so
Okay,
it's
so
drenched and saturated.
Okay.
So they have to remove that with the dump truck, and the
And
dump
then
truck
they bring in
makes
the
runs
new
back
And they
and
go
forth
back
to
and
bring the new
forth.
stuff
Okay,
in.
perfect,
So they-
that's all, because
they-
I'm thinking all they're doing, just gonna go there, take the fire hydrant
Yeah.
out, and
No,
then
there's
put it all in the
excavation
truck
and then
move away.
re-backfill the whole thing.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
Thank you,
I'm fine with
Supervisor,
that,
for that.
yeah. Thank you.
Was that correct, the one I said? Which-
Correct, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
all
so
right.
I don't need any further explanation.
I'll just ask the follow-up question then, if that's the case, then where's the disposal fee for that?
Where?
He reuses that material, he dries it out on his property, so he reuses it. So it's not contaminated soil, it's not a sewer break, it's a water break.
There you go.
So you
Makes
just
sense.
can't fill the hole back in.
Okay.
He just
Totally
can't
makes
reuse it because it's just slop at that point in time because of the wetness.
It's much.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay. All right, next, 8, consider request to award bid for the pump house roof replacement, Carmel Water Districts 1, 8, 10, and 13. If you're not familiar where this building is, if you're looking at Maple Grove from Route 6, it's to the left of Maple Grove. Correct, Rich? Am I right with that?
It's the second building left.
Second building
Next to
left.
B&J's, to the right of B&J's. The building that's immediately next to Maple Grove is the water pump house for the Carmel Sewer, Mayapack School District. That's where their well is.
Oh, got it.
So there's a
Okay.
well house there that pumps the water up to Lakeview.
Yeah.
And there is ours, which is a pump house which sucks the water out of Lake Mahopac.
How come Mapac Schools isn't on the municipal
The
board?
school wants to be, there's something that their board was discussing. This was
Oh.
last year, I talked to one of their members,
Yeah.
and they were discussing trying to get this done, because it's kind of a no-brainer.
Oh, okay, okay. I think it's got to do with this.
Yeah, and it's a matter of, you know what, though? It's good for negotiations. I know you guys are talking about properties, we're talking
Oh,
about what
we
the
are.
town and school can do.
Yeah.
You know, figure out, it's a matter of how we all help each other out.
It has to go back to a discussion we had 2 weeks ago with back capital charges for the water in that water district. Water use and
Okay.
back capital.
Yeah, 'cause
So
then
that's the
they can
discussion that
abandon
needs to be had.
That pump house. They can abandon their line. to
We
the
can
lake.
waive it for a school, right, Greg? Back capital, we can waive for a school? No, you can't waive back capital for anybody? No, okay.
Wait a minute. Rich, the intake from the Lake Mayapack to that pump house, where's their intake located?
No, they're not in that's a well.
It's a well.
They were on a well. There's
Oh.
well heads
Oh,
over there.
there's wells there.
But their infrastructure is basically right next to where our well is, and that's why they want to hook up. and-
Right.
Oh,
But I guess
Right
that's
near
what it
the
all
plant.
comes down to, is money in the back end, and
wait a minute, Suzie, we could use that well to irrigate the airport park fields if they abandon it.
Okay.
moving on.
I'm only teasing. All right.
All right, so you introduced me. So B&J, the operators for Carmel Water Districts 1, 8, 10, and
was.
13, the water treatment plant,
Yeah.
has alerted the engineering department that the roof above the raw water pump house is in need of repair. The building houses 3 raw water booster pumps and associated electronic controls. B&J has indicated that this is the original roof on the building, started to show signs of water damage and deterioration of the existing rafters. It's about 70 years old. We requested quotes for the replacement of the roof, certified contracting services at $9,000, Richard Barletta Construction at $9,200, and Hastings Roofing, which came up and visited the site and was in contact with me, ultimately decided not to bid. The board should note that the roof was inspected for asbestos, and it was determined that there was no need for an abatement. The plant services water districts 1, 8, 10, and 13. The cost must be allocated to each of those districts. Even though it's not in my memo, and I apologize for the confusion, it's on the next page in the backup for tonight's memo, but we recommend that the project be awarded to certified contracting services in the amount of $9,000. That cost gets allocated between the 4 water districts: Cornwall Water District 1, $828, Water District 8, $5,265, Water District 10, $1,755, and Water District 13, $1,152. There are sufficient funds in the various budgets for this work.
Rich, I have a question. The proposal from Richard Bartlett, it says 9,100. So why on the front does it say 92? I'm not 92, yeah, 9,200.
Oh, yeah, he did say 9,100. It was 9,200, he lowered it to 9,100, I apologize. He still wasn't the lowest, it would go to the 9,000.
Good catch, Susie.
I read?
Well, that was an overall bad memo by me. I didn't catch the
Yeah,
9,100,
that's
I
all right.
didn't catch
Yeah.
making my recommendation.
Okay, and also I want to add that the Cornwall Highway Department, thank you, Mike Simone, is they took a tree down that was in very close proximity to the pump house. So I want to thank Mike Simone and his Highway Department for doing that and to enable us to get to the roof and make those necessary repairs. So he sent his tree crew over there and they took the tree down. Hello. How are you?
So, Rich, just, the one that you guys are gonna go with, they're using the 2x6s, rafters.
I don't have that open, hold on.
I was just trying to compare the two, that's all.
2 by
I see
6s.
that 3/4 CDX, I see that they both have that. I just didn't see.
What is certified doing? Framing a new joist. They're replacing it, well, not in kind, but the same size as there, I think.
Right, so my question is,
2 by 6 rafters.
you know what I'm saying? I just wanna make sure that the quotes are the same, like if they're, I would assume it's a 2x6, but I don't wanna assume anything.
I will confirm that with you,
Okay,
for you, and, thought he had told me that, I thought it was in here, so I'd have to double check.
yeah, perfect,
All right, I will do that.
okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Any more questions or comments for Rich on this item?
No,
Susie, great questions, great comments, thank you.
And I will get back to you with those answers.
okay, thank you.
All right, Rich, 9, consider request to attend Southeast New York Stormwater Conference, October 16th, 2019, Duchess Manor for $135. I think, do you attend this every year?
Yes, sir.
It's an annual, okay.
So just, that's what it's there for. It's, as you said, it's New York Stormwater Conference at Duchess Manor, $135. I have sufficient budget in my, my engineering budget to cover the cost of that. So one day I will not be here in the office, but
Yeah,
That's it.
that's fine. I think you should attend that. And I'll authorize you to take the car now. You don't have to ask me.
thank you.
Okay. The town car. All right. That's what that's there for.
All right, that's it.
All right. Anybody else have any
Thank you,
questions for
Rich.
Rich?
Thank you. I'll have those answers for you, Susie.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, the 10th and final agenda item, Greg Fulchetti's going to handle this. Our town legal counsel, consider proposal for online licensing, online dog portal, and this would be for the town clerk, Ann Spofford.
Correct. Thanks, Supervisor. Yeah, we have an online proposal here for, basically for people to renew their dog licensing applications
Good night, Rich.
Good night.
and to access their licensure information. And it's a BAS systems. It's pretty much a mirror of the payment processing agreement that we have for the receiver of taxes to collect and process tax payments. I know it's a sore subject today, but it is, it is what we have with a mirror for the tax receiver's office. And basically, we're going to pay probably about $800 in the first year and about $300 for maintenance and support per year in the second 2 years of the 3-year proposed agreement, if you choose to accept it. And basically, there's a convenience fee for the transactions. It's 2.45% with a minimum of $1.75 for the applicant/user to do that, but it saves them the trip into town hall, the paperwork's more expedited and streamlined. It's a boilerplate agreement. The only thing we change generally is the choice of law provision, so if there's a dispute, that it's litigated in New York, they usually leave that blank because they do it nationwide. But it's something that I think would probably ease the process for the clerk's office, ease traffic in town hall for the renewals and to kind of streamline things. And town clerk has asked me to bring it to the town board this evening, and something I would think you would want to do to facilitate the convenience of the residents.
I think it's a great idea. I think the more services that we can provide our residents that they can do online, definitely saves them a trip here. It's more convenient, it's easier for them.
Oh, in a few years, we're gonna have it on our app where you could scan your credit card, boom, autofill, put in your CCV, and we're done. We're gonna catch up to technology one day. One day.
Kicking and screaming.
We will, yeah.
21st century.
So Greg, they're
I
gonna
really
come-
hoped it would be in my term, but I tried 2 of them and it didn't work out so well.
We'll make sure it gets done.
They're gonna come down and train them?
Yeah, there's actually
At no
training
charge,
included in
right?
it.
Oh, 30 minutes via webinar.
Okay, but there's, obviously, there's a support mechanism that we have.
Okay.
That you pay for in the annual fee, the annual licensing fee. And I don't think that it will be overly complicated in its general application. If there's glitches with
It
it, they
shouldn't be.
tend
Yeah,
to
I mean,
work themselves
and
out. but-
our tax bills get paid online now, we send out a notice, so we're getting up there, definitely, with the
Yep.
times. It's good
Now all
stuff.
we need is fillable forms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Annie, before I die, that will happen.
I forget the exact number, but I think there's close to 8,000, there's 8 or 9,000 dogs in the town of Carmel that,
That are registered?
I don't know about registered.
I would say, wow, I'm impressed.
There's 6,000, yeah, there's 2,000 on my street alone. But there are a lot of dogs, and everybody's got
Yeah.
dogs, I mean, they're great to have. But you have to license them, so. All right, this will make it a lot easier for folks to do that.
All right, perfect.
All right, perfect. So that completes the agenda items for this evening's town board work session. There are a couple of announcements, and I guess I'll start off. Since there's nobody here to come up and comment on agenda items, so we'll dispense with that. And also open forum, new business, we're also going to dispense with that as well tonight because the meeting's very lightly attended. Just our professionals were here, so I guess other people have things to do this evening, anyway. So this is for all the taxpayers of the town of Carmel. Today's date is September 10th, Tuesday, September 10th. Do not pay your school tax bill, property tax bill at this time. It's been temporarily suspended, and I'll explain to you why. Right, so this is a notice to all taxpayers. It's really Putnam County, but we're talking about Carmel tonight. School tax collection payments temporarily suspended. The Putnam County Commissioner of Finance has temporarily suspended all school tax payments due to a file control error causing veteran exemptions to exceed maximum limits, thereby causing 2019 and 20 school tax bills to be incorrect. Corrected school tax bills will be mailed the week of September 16th, 2019. School tax collections will resume the week of September 16th, 2019. Please check with your local tax collector regarding the exact date to pay in person or online if applicable. The corrected school tax bill will be read corrected bill. So on the envelope, I believe it's also going to state corrected bill at the top and bottom of the bill and be printed on yellow paper. So when your tax bill, your school tax bill arrives, it'll be on yellow paper. That is the corrected tax bill. So don't discard that, open it up, because that's the tax bill you're going to be paying for the 1920 school year. So the corrected school tax collection schedule, the first half for partial payments is extended to October 7th, 2019. So that's for partial payments. You have until October 7th of 2019. Full pay payments without interest is extended to October 21st, 2019. The Putnam County Commissioner of Finances apologizes to taxpayers for the inconvenience caused by this error. Specific inquiries regarding this error should be directed to the Commissioner of Finance at 845-808-1075. Let me state that again. Any specific questions regarding the error on your tax bill, please direct them to the Commissioner of Putnam County Finance, Bill Carlin's office, at 845-808-1075. Do not call the Town of Carmel Tax Receiver's office if you have any questions with respect to the error that was on your tax bill. Okay, and this is pretty much the same. This is Kathleen Kraus prepared this. She's our receiver of taxes. That the Putnam County Commissioner of Finance, William Carlin, has suspended the 1920 school tax collection effective immediately regarding a file control error. The collection has been stopped until corrected bills are mailed out and issued to you, the property owner. So I don't want to read this again. It'd be redundant to read that over again. Same thing here. If your payment was more than what it should have been received, a refund check will be issued. So if you paid more, if you paid your taxes already to the tax collector and it was more than you should have paid, a refund check will be issued to you for the difference.
No need to appear back at the percentage office for that.
Right.
Right, don't have to come back to collect the check, the check's gonna be automatically issued, that's what it's.
Yeah.
Right, you're not gonna go into
No, you don't have to for that, no.
Don't come in here.
don't
The
come in
check
here.
will not be here for you.
Yeah, don't come in here, yeah.
Don't come in to get
Don't- Now, if your check hasn't been deposited yet, from my understanding from Kathleen, she will be.
That's getting
mail-
returned.
Yeah, that'll be returned to you. That's gonna be mailed back to you. If it wasn't processed and deposited, it's gonna be mailed back to you.
Yeah, this is a tax bill mulligan. We're redoing this, and we're gonna start it back on the 16th.
Yeah, great way
And
to
it's
put it.
totally on Putnam County, not on the town of Carmel.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yes, yeah, so don't yell and scream at us or blame us for this. It wasn't, don't blame anybody. It happened, it
Yeah.
was an error.
The error is human,
It happens.
but the error is definitely not on us. It is on Putnam County,
it's-
and we love them down there.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate them, working to rectify this issue, and they are, so, no blame, people. All right. Anybody else?
You're having something tomorrow, right, for 9/11?
Yeah.
Did you mention that?
Yeah,
You did?
yeah.
Okay.
Didn't I mention that?
You mentioned the
Oh,
Carmel
the one at the
Hamlet. You didn't
Carmel.
mention the one at the town of
Oh,
Carmel.
yeah, thank you, Susie. Yeah, here at the Carmel Town Hall, thank you, Susie. We have a 9/11 memorial here, and every year we have a remembrance ceremony for 9/11. It'll be tomorrow, Wednesday, September 11th, at the first, it's a two-part remembrance ceremony. Everybody's going to gather outside at the 9/11 memorial here at Carmel Town Hall, and I'll be presenting it, if you will, the ceremony. And the first moment of silence that we're going to have is at 8:46 a.m. So 0846 a.m. hours is when the first plane, tragically, the terrorists struck the North Tower with the first jetliner. And we're going to pause and have a moment of silence for that. And that at 9:02 a.m. is when the second plane struck the South Tower in Lower Manhattan. So those two, so in between 8:46 and 9:02, we're going to have a lot. I'm going to read off the names of the Putnam County residents that tragically died on 9/11 at that date. They'll be read off, and I'm going to be reading off the other names as well of the other Putnam County residents that have since succumbed to their 9/11 related illnesses from Putnam County. So. And I'm going to speak a little bit about 9/11, the events of that day, and the 9/11 memorial we have here, and how that was constructed. And we're going to talk about the steel, the artifacts that make up our 9/11 memorial came from the site. They're two large pieces of steel. I'm sure everybody has had an opportunity to view our 9/11 memorial here at the Carmel Town Hall. So if you want to join us, please, you're welcome. I'd love to have as many people here as we can. That's tomorrow morning, 9/11 get here about 8:30, and the ceremony is going to start at 8:45, and 8:46 we'll have the moment of silent meditation to reflect on that day. It's important that we teach our young children about 9/11 because they weren't born. It was 18 years ago. It's the 18th anniversary. So those children that weren't born on that date, that were born shortly after, are 18 years old now. And future generations need to know about, what happened that day. And the impact that it had on this country. And with all the lives that were lost, not only here in New York, but at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and also in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, a plane that was taken over by terrorists and had crashed there as well. So it's a tragic day across the board. I was a police officer back then. I was in training that day, and one of the officers came in to the American Legion where our training was that day, and they told everyone that a plane struck one of the towers in Lower Manhattan, the World Trade Centers. And at first, our reaction was that it was a small plane that was flying at a low altitude, or maybe it had a mechanical problem, a small Cessna or Piper, and then it struck the building, until we turned the TV on that day, and we all realized it was much, much more than a small plane. And then it became very abundantly clear about 15 minutes later that when we actually saw the second jetliner take aim, if you will, at the South Tower and impacted the South Tower, that it was way, way more than an accident. It wasn't an accident. We were under attack. So everybody knows where they were that day and what they were doing, I'm sure. If you were alive, you know where you were and what you were doing. So we can always remember and never forget 9/11. So thank you. Is there anything you want to
Just on that note, I myself was a member of the NYPD at the time of those events. Remember them very well. My Marine unit was activated shortly thereafter, and I was glad to see the town of Carmel take the initiative and get the 9/11 steel for the memorial, which brings me to kind of where we're talking about now and what this point is. I think with the new town park that we have going downtown, I think that is the appropriate place to display the 9/11 memorial steel. People come here never with their children. They come here to pay a tax bill or to get mad at government officials. But everybody goes down to that town park. That's where my kids beg to go. Even now, like with Swan Cove, we're talking about what the future is. I think that would be a spectacular display. Teach our kids about 9/11, talk to them about that, have the ceremony there annually. I think it would be a great spot, but I know logistics are always a difficult thing, but I think that would be much more rewarding for the town, the community, and for the future.
All right. You know what I could do? I could reach out to the woman that Janet, right? Johnson or something?
From
I could
Anglo
reach out to
17?
the woman
Yeah.
that we coordinated with to get the steel for this 9/11 memorial.
And if she's gone now, I still have contacts at the MTA that we utilized through there because they were instrumental in that. So yeah,
All right.
if you guys are okay with it, I feel ever since it got placed here, I never really felt like it was really the right spot for it. But I think this town park with the expansion downtown, I think it is a perfect location to get kids out there to teach them.
Okay, good idea. Yeah, if we can get some more steel, more artifacts, from the Port Authority, it would be the Port Authority who would coordinate that.
That's it.
They'd authorize it, but they probably have more artifacts left somewhere. Maybe we can get some more and create another 9/11 memorial.
Yeah, I think it would be spectacular.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, it is nice to have it at a public setting. Nobody comes here with the family for a picnic to hang out in the front of that. While it is a spectacular memorial, it's unfortunately very seldom
It's
visited.
underused.
Yeah,
Undervisited.
you're right.
It's mostly the residents that come that way that actually like see the stuff and reflect and stand there. But it's mostly adults, it's not the children.
Yeah. It's future generations that really need to learn and
Yeah,
understand.
there have been some towns I drive through where it is literally the center of town in a roundabout, and it's just, clear as day. So to have really good exposure in the most used thoroughfare that we have, I think it would be a great addition, especially because that project right now, as it stands, is coming out great. It's gonna be spectacular. I just think
Yeah.
that would be a really nice piece to have there.
All right, good thought, Jonathan. All right, thanks. Let's look into it.
Sounds good.
We'll
Help
research
you out
it.
any way I can.
Okay.
I know you took it. I sent it out years before I was
Yeah.
sitting here, and you were the only one who was an elected official in the area that took it. So
Yeah.
it's great that it's here.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to you.
No, thank you. No, thank you for bringing it to my town. How long? That was in 2010?
No, before 12, because
Before,
it was before. Yeah, it was
no,
before I
think
was on
we-
board.
I think we it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
2012 was
We dedicated it in 2012, right? Yeah. But we started building it. We started the construction on it in,
Yeah.
Around the 10th anniversary.
yeah.
Yeah, before I had any intention of running for anything, I first heard about it because our fire department in Westchester was doing it, and I was like, hold on, they're giving this stuff away and nobody's doing it, and
Yeah,
it amazes me that there's not more communities that have
Yeah,
done this.
yeah, it really
advantage
is,
of
I
it.
know, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, all right, Susie just handed me something here.
Oh, the Alzheimer's
Oh, which one
walk.
is it? Oh.
Just to remind people.
Oh, yes,
Alzheimer's
this is
walk.
to remind people, if you're interested, there is time to join us for the Putnam County Alzheimer's Walk. That's on September 21st at Veterans Memorial Park in Carmel. It's actually in Kent, but we'll, for the purposes of this, we'll say Carmel.
And then if you scroll down, it has the contact information.
At the annual Walks to End Alzheimer's this fall, over 750 team captains, supported by 5,475 participants, will come together across the Hudson Valley to raise money to fund research support, group programs, education for the community, advocacy efforts, and our 24/7 helpline. We would love to have you join our mission. There are many ways to get involved. Check out the links below, and they list a bunch of links here. The Walk to End Alzheimer's also has many opportunities that fall under the sponsorship category, sponsorship and event day marketing. Please see the attached. There are 400,000 people in the state of New York who have Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. My mother was one of them, sadly. She passed away a couple of years ago. And it is the 6th leading cause of death in the U.S., affecting families and businesses throughout the country. Partnering with the Alzheimer's Association is an excellent way to network with your community, all while giving back to a great cause. Thanks for all your support. Every bit counts. If you have any questions, please call or email me. Denise Cubier, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, MSRN, LNHACCM, Advanced Aging Life Professional, Alzheimer's Association Board of Directors.
I would just give her email address.
Yeah, let me give you her email address if you'd like to
Don't
reach
give
out
her
to
mine.
Denise. It's DKUHBIER, that's DKUHBIER @gmail.com.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Okay, does any board members have any other announcements besides what we covered tonight? John, you have anything? Jonathan, anything else?
All good, thank you.
No? Susie?
No, I'm good.
Okay, that's it. We don't have
Oh,
executive.
Can we move to
Executive
executive session
Oh,
for
yeah.
personnel
That's
item?
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Councilman Schneider made a motion to move to executive session to discuss a personnel matter. Susie McDonough, Councilwoman McDonough seconded it. All those in favor? Aye. All right, good night, everyone. Be well.
Just,
We'll see you back here. We're going to close from executive session. We'll see you back here next week, which is the 18th, for a town board voting meeting. Good night, be well.
so just so you know,